Hi, this is Andy Braitman. Welcome to Braitman Studio again. Today we're going to talk about a basically simple painting and how to use complicated color to make a simple painting attractive. So the first thing I'm going to do is figure the design elements that keep this simple, which allow for a rather complicated application and a complicated color palette. The palette itself is pretty simple, but mixing the colors is complicated, and we'll get to that by the third video. Right now we're just going to talk about the design, and I'm going to show you a simple basic design. I'm going to use compressed charcoal, and I'm going to start off to the side of this is a canvas that's I've stretched and gessoed 5 times, 2 with Golden's black gesso and 3 more times with Cheap Joe's cheapest white gesso. And I'm going to start with my compressed charcoal, and I'm just going to get a shape of a tree. And again, I'm going to place it toward the center of the canvas, middle ground, and I'm going to shape it in such a way that the tree itself is interesting because this is a signature tree. And I'm going to come back and work with this as a simple design. And it's just my first time through, so I'm not too worried about it. I tend to do lots of trees in my paintings, and so this is a really important aspect of the tree painting process, is understanding the design. So I'm just coming back across with this, and I'm looking for an interesting position and shape to the tree. And I tend to make these turns that indicate growth and maturity in the tree. So I'm going to move off, and foliage always comes to the top, and it's somewhat balanced. So I'm going to make sure that the trunk of the tree, its roots, are underneath the bulk of the foliage, so there's some support for the piece. Take the medium that we've just mixed, and I'm going to pour a little bit out onto my palette. And then I'm going to take a wash brush that I get from Jack Richardson Company. This is a number 3. It's a beautiful wash brush because it keeps a very thin tapered edge, and yet it doesn't hold a lot of paint, which a lot of large brushes do. I'm going to take this medium and then turn this compressed charcoal into black paint by using the paint medium to mix with the compressed charcoal. And we are literally making paint. So I'm taking the powdered pigment, which in this case is charcoal, and I'm mixing it with the painting medium, which has linseed oil and varnish and dryers like stand oil and turpentine. And I'm turning this powder right into a black paint. And I'm going to shape my tree, and I tend to go against the shape of the branch. So if the branch is vertical, I tend to make horizontal strokes against the shape. Sometimes it gets so thin that I'll make little strokes in the direction, but usually I try to go against the shape as much as possible. And in a simple painting like this, I'm going to start with the subject tree first and get an interesting design, just so that I have interest across the form, and I know, and I really pay attention to the way it hugs the ground, so I have this little connection. Hi, this is Andy Braitman. We're still working on the design of a simple painting. So right now I've got my tree laid out, and this is my subject. I'm going to put in a little bit of a background shape, and I'm going to see that I have something behind there, something behind the tree, and it's going to be like a mountain or a hillside or something along that line, and then something for the tree to sit on. So we have an interesting shape and a layout, and I tend to let these shapes all point to a vanishing point over here somewhere. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a roller. It's just a simple brayer, and I'm going to take a mid-tone, and I'm going to take just a little bit of medium into that mid-tone. And I'm going to take the roller, and I'm just going to charge the roller in an interesting way. And then I'm going to come right over this painting, right over that mixed paint, and I'm going to cover up the tree. All that work that I did is all going to disappear, but I'm not worried. Did it once, I'll do it again. And each time I do it, it gives me a chance to refine the image a little bit, make it stronger. And I'm really trying to just keep this simple. So I have this basic design, and I'm trying not to overcomplicate it and trying not to make the application be a problem. So once I've gotten that covered, I'm pretty happy with it. I'll take that same color and medium, I'll put a little more medium into it. And you can see I've mixed up some interesting colors here. Put a little more medium into it. And I'll brighten it up just a bit. So in this case, I'm going to brighten up with my white. That's a Utrecht white. I'm just going to throw it right into there. And I might actually throw in a little bit of lemon yellow because that's going to brighten it up as well as whiten it up. I'm not going to overly homogenize that. I'll take the same dirty roller and I'll put this right into what will be the water or the field or whatever's down here. And again, I'm trying not to cover up or leave anything alone. I'm just putting it down. You notice I have skipped that tree. I'll come back and get it. Then I'll do the same thing one more time. I'll take this, add a little more color to it, take a touch more. I may not need more medium. I'm not going to clean the brayer. I'm going to come back in and cover the sky, or what will be the sky. Then I'm going to take a squeegee. This is a simple metal thin painter. I'm going to come back on top and take a little bit of these mediums so the paint gets here. I'm just going to block in the brown. I'm going to get darker as I come forward. I'm not going to finish any of my thoughts. I'll come back and take the rest of this paint so as not to waste it. Pull it over here to the side. I'm going to take that same piece of compressed charcoal and I'm going to come back and start to redraw the tree. And I'm not just redrawing it. I'm refining what I did that first time through. So I'm straightening out areas. I'm beginning to really see volume and form. I'll let this pay attention to the way that tree grabs the ground with its feet, its roots. Start to come across. And the nice thing about this application approach is that these compressed charcoals that I'm putting right into that wet paint, they'll be able to stay and become part of the paint, where I can paint over them and build on top and let them sort of, just disappear and be covered up with the next layer. So I'll get that done, and then I'll take a little bit more of my painting medium. Mix it up into all that residue paint, every bit of paint that's left. I'll take my brush and I'll just start to, since it's the colors that are there, I'm just starting to find some interest in these backgrounds and form that I may not use, or I may cover up and use, or I may utilize throughout the rest of the painting on the next layer. And that's it. So that was my first layer of paint. It's a simple painting, a simple layout, and I'm letting complicated application and it's complicated color mixing do the work for me so my painting can stay fairly simple. And next week I'll go over the next layer of this paint. We're going to build on these complicated colors and I'll show you how I mix them and what colors go into them. Thank you very much for visiting Braitman Studio, and I hope you have a happy day painting.